7 metres. Regan Grace with a try. 7 tackle busts from the wispy winger. 112 metres. Zeb Tyre, 1 try and 118 metres. Theo Farge, 1 try assist. 5 tackle busts. 131 metres. 2 clean breaks. Johnny Lomax, a try assist. And 103 metres, and that's all without Danny Richardson, who was probably the man of the match. That's roundabout.
And nobody impressing for Wakefield. So what does all that do to the standings then, Mark, ahead of the split?
Well, there were a few changes in the stands after the final round of the regular season. Significantly, Hull FC jumped back into the top 4 and finished 3rd. Salford, despite defeat this week, end up 4th. Wakefield miss out on an extra home game, and both St Helens and Wigan will feel they're in touch with the semi-final spots after their wins. Lee end up off the bottom, Widnes finishing 12th. Castleford, up at the top, can in theory wrap up the League Leaders' Shield in round 1 of the Super 8s with the points difference advantage over the field. If they win and Leeds lose, they are effectively safe for a semi-final home spot as well. 5th place being 14 points behind, and a big points difference behind 2. Final standings were Castleford with 40 points, Leeds with 30, Hull FC 27, Salford 26, Wakefield in 5th 26, St Helens 25, Wigan 23, Huddersfield in 8th with 21. Then the qualifiers teams: Warrington on 20 points, Catalan on 15, Leeds Centurions on 12, and I wrote Castleford, but I meant to write Widnes. I don't know what I've done.
They're so good that they've been in the league twice this year.
Widnes on 11.
There you go. So what does all that mean in terms of predictions, Super Brew and Dream Teams?
Well, I went 5 out of 6 last week. You went none out of 6 due to your forfeiture.
So it's a bit of a Brian McDermott style week because I'm still 5 ahead.
Yeah, so you are 5 ahead. Yeah, 100 to 105 you lead. In the Super Roo, Widnes fan Paul O'Brien gets some consolation for his regular season by wearing the yellow cap this week, but it's Ollie Smith who stays top overall. His lead, though, is a very narrow one going into the Super 8s.
Very good.
Stephen Barry retains his top spot in the Dream Team League in a relatively low-scoring week. Tom Ackley's 590 is the best score in the round, so well done, Tom, with lots of players missing out. Lots of people had zeros next to their names in everyone's teams.
Right, well, that's Super League well and truly covered then. Let's take a look now at some results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. Okay, so 2 results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league then, Mark. Round 23 of championship play over the weekend. Toulouse were 32 points to 26 winners over Featherstone Rovers, and we had some contacts on this one as well, didn't we?
Yeah, full Brian beyond. Ryan Davies said, listened to this on Fev Rovers TV. It was a bit like listening to the pod with only one host. Not quite as smooth as it could be. Toulouse got off to a good start. Fev hit straight back before Tio opened up a gap. Fev fought back to go ahead again before the sides went into the last few minutes level. Both sides failed with drop goals before Tio broke and scored a try with 40 seconds to go. Great excitement. Yeah, it was Cunny Minga, wasn't it? Grabbing his,
French
second try
Cunny Minga
of the game. And cracking finish really, and it meant Sunday was more important as well, which I think was important for this game, for the entertainment of it and the storylines around the championship.
Yeah,
it puts that a little bit more pressure all the time on the broadcasters or the governing body to do something about the broadcasting of the competition. Although we know that it looks like Premier Sport are probably going to get Toronto exclusive rights to show all live home games again next season.
Yeah. Bradford were beaten there.
Hopefully they can get something similar with Toulouse. Come on, they must have games on TV.
You would think so.
Let's hope so.
You would think so. It was Bradford 6, Swinton 16 down at Odsall.
Bradford had a man sent off, didn't they? Winger for a tip tackle, and then twos went all ref's fault still. About other stuff that went on, didn't they? But I think Swinton were good for it.
More the point was just a bit pretty dire. So
Swinton needed this with the Wigan Dual Reg players not going to be available because none of them played enough games for him.
Right. Fair play. Season done. Dewsbury Rams were 28 points to 18 winners over the Sheffield Eagles. Halifax got a 28 points to 6 win over Hull KR, securing their berth in the middle eights.
And obviously this was the huge game in the end after the previous huge game. And Tyler Rovers fan gets in touch and said, KR's decision to get in Newman and Redford pre-match seems to have paid off. # fixes in. # unlucky to lose. # conspiracies.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to say people are cheating or people are letting people win. But who would you rather play?
They've come out with
a
strong rebuttal of all of that, haven't they? Well, now they're ended up against Fev. I hope Fev dick 'em when they go to the LD Nutrition Stadium.
They won't. As much of a fortress as the LD Nutrition Stadium has been, they won't dick 'em.
Scooter 28
we got some people in touch, didn't we? Yes.
Said, was it a genuine result or as much speculation in the city suggests a fix to avoid another trip to France?
Well,
Did they go to play Catalan then?
I hope so. I hope that's what happens. I hope Romans dick him, and I hope Catalan has to play.
So in the way it works, Catalan would be second, so they would play third at home, wouldn't they? Third and fourth, they would play at home. So they do have to go for at least that trip to France to Rivers.
Right. London were 58 points to 4 victors over the Batley Bulldogs, and Paul said loads of it.
Yeah, he said a decent performance from London today, a few silly errors, but a win to take us into the 8 is a good thing. Bring on Super League. 3 wins gets us 5th place. Yeah, I think London are going into it with decent form as well, aren't they?
And quietly in some respects as well, because everyone's talking about everyone else. No one's really talking about London.
They've added depth for them as well over the last few weeks. Like Sam Wilde and John Bedebs are coming in. Is players who've played in Super League.
Definitely so.
Gives them depth. They've got a couple of players coming back from injury. They're going to have competition for places because Purangi's doing really well in the half. So when Bartau's back, it's putting a good melting pot together, I think, for the Broncos.
They could quietly surprise a few people.
If they can beat OKR, that'd be huge.
Massive, innit? Really blows it wide open. Final game of the round saw Oldham defeated at home 24 points to 34 by Rochdale.
Yeah, there was sin bins for
galore.
No, there wasn't.
I know you are. Yes, I do. One-eyed.
No, I'm joking. That was in a different game. But there was a fight. I think.
Well, of course there was.
The match review from Ian Wilson in the League Express says. And then all hell erupted as Josh Crowley took exception to being forced into touch by Sam G, and Tyson and Moores were the ones chosen to spend 10 minutes in the sin bin as a result of their fisticuffs during the resulting melee. More niggles soon followed, and it was thanks to the RFL's good sense in appointing an experienced referee in Gareth Ewer in what was always likely to be a combustible occasion that calm was soon restored.
Fair play.
That stood out to me from reading the papers this weekend.
Love a fight them lot, don't they? So that's the championship finished ahead of the split. What does that mean in terms of the standings, Mark?
Yeah, well, the significant news is that Halifax are in the top 4 and they actually finish in 3rd place, with Toulouse the side that is out. The final table goes as this. Hull KR with 39, so actually got less points than Castleford did in Super League. London with 36 in 2nd place, Halifax with 32, Featherstone 31 in 4th, Toulouse just missing out on 30 points, Batley 22, Sheffield 20. Dewsbury, a remarkable story turnaround for them from being probably the worst team at the Summer Bash but still winning their game and in that game, and then that was patchy and scratchy and scraped it. But then since then, the run they've been on, they now ended up in 8th with 16 points at the end of the regular season. Rochdale in 9th with 15 points, thanks largely to their early season form. Swinton have jumped out of the bottom 2 spots with their win against Bradford. They are on 12 points in 10th place. Oldham on 11 points and Bradford on 0 points. Not forgetting all those points for Toulouse to Bradford are carried over, aren't they, into the Shield?
Yes, they are. It was round 20 of NRL play, and when a full complement of fixtures in Australia this week. It was Brisbane Broncos 42, Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs 12. The Sydney Roosters were 28 points to 4 winners over the Newcastle Knights. Mark?
Again, Joe Wardle played, is on his sort of expected wind down of his time in Newcastle, but he played in this one for them in the 2nd row.
Interesting appointment. There you go. My Sharkies were 26 points to 12 winners over the South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Yeah, that was despite Tom Burgess making 141 metres, Sam Burgess 151 metres, and George Burgess even managing 117 metres.
Penrith Panthers defeated the Gold Coast Titans 24 points to 16.
Yeah, with Joe Greenwood working hard in defeat, 45 tackles for him.
Canberra Raiders beaten at home again, 14 points to 20 by the Melbourne Storm.
Yeah, Elliot White had 47 tackles, and Hodgson played in this one. He started the game at loose forward.
It's just not been his year, though, has it?
No, it's not been fantastic. And yeah, it was a big loss for the Raiders.
North Queensland Cowboys were 24 points to 12 winners over the New Zealand Warriors. The St George Illawarra Dragons were 52 points to 22 winners over the Manly Sea Eagles.
And a player who certainly is having a top season is Gareth Widdop. 1 try, 2 try assists, 173 metres.
And there was only a point in it in the final game of the weekend as West Tigers were beaten at home 16 points to 17 by the Parramatta Eels.
Yeah, that means the Storm stay top and keep a 2-point lead from the Roosters. Broncos and Sharks come next on 28 points in 3rd and 4th. Cowboys are also on 28, they sit 5th. Seagulls and Eels are 2 points back, and the Dragons on 24 round out the top 8. Panthers on 22 sit just outside those final spots. The Raiders, the Titans, the Warriors and the Bulldogs are on 18 and they're starting to run out of time. It maybe looks like time has already run out for the Rabbitohs below them on 16.
There you go. Okay, that is the world of rugby league well and truly covered. Let's take a look into the future now as we bring you our predictions for the Challenge Cup semi-finals. Okay, so predictions then, Mark. A truncated version of that this week since it's the exciting Challenge Cup semi-final weekend. First game of the weekend on the BBC at 2:30 on Saturday afternoon. Pits Hull FC against the Leeds Rhinos. What do you reckon?
I think this is so hard to call. Leeds might have rested players, but I don't think that necessarily gets over the fact that some of those players will still be carrying knocks.
Right.
Hull FC ground out a game last week against a side that were in form going into that encounter. I don't know, Tom.
This is the most conflicted I've ever seen it. I do know, Mark. I think Leeds are going to win. I've gone 26 points to 14 in favour of the Rhinos, and I'll tell you for why. Basically, against everything you've just said, they've had a week off, essentially, have some of these lads, so that gives you a chance to fix things up in terms of just getting some bodies back and a bit of rest and keeping people at fitness and having them raring to go. And Hull FC, whilst they ground out a result last week against a team that have been in form, have been pretty dire in the weeks before that, and I don't see enough of an uptick in their performance against. Yes, Huddersfield were in relative form, but this is a team that are climbing out of the fucking bottom 4, not a team that are on, good sort of top 4 form. So it is relative in that respect. So I don't think that you're going to see enough of an uptick in Hull's performances to warrant that they will win the game. Whereas I think Leeds do have enough going on to get them over the line in this one. So that's why I've picked them for a win.
So you're going Leeds.
I've gone Leeds 26-14, yeah.
I'm going to go Hull FC. I think it's going to be a close game. They've got the best goal kicker on the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
That might be crucial. They've got a very good defence again now. After the defence was horrible in sort of the late April period.
Yeah.
The defence was horrible around that time. And they've gone back to basics, as Radford has said, and that helped them out a lot with the defence, I think. And I don't think they'll fall for any of the sort of easy kind of roll through tries that Joel Moon has been getting. And I also think that with a person with an engine like Danny Houghton, he can get around and stop some of those offloads from Cuthbertson becoming roll on, like rolling through the middle kind of plays with. He'll have people like Parcell in check, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give the edge to Hull FC's defence and goal kicking. 2018 Hull FC.
Fair play. Well, we're both going to pick Wigan for a win. I just think they're a better side than Salford are at the minute. And I think Salford, while you could accuse them of having one eye on the semi-final in their performance against Leeds last week, were so abject in that display. And Wigan will take a lot of confidence from getting some players back, and again, a result against an admittedly diminished Leeds side. They have enough in the tank and enough muscle memory of getting to finals to beat Salford. I think Salford's season is nosediving now for me.
The expectation is Liam Fowle should be back for Wigan. You look at that. You look at sort of the core of that team, and there's players who've played in big finals. So by definition have also played in big semi-finals. There's players who've pulled it out of the bag in late occasions in big games, and there's players who've